Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. Welcome and happy Juneteenth to everyone. If you didn't see the Mo video already, I just said basically I'm extremely happy that it's Juneteenth and that Juneteenth is now a holiday. I think it's way past due that it was because there's so much to celebrate. Um, the opportunity for all of us to begin moving forward and to begin looking at the ways in which our contributed energies can really begin to heal the past so that we can move forward from a much more united space together. Creating national holidays like Juneteenth are a way in which that can begin to happen. I find it really exciting, really, really exciting. And I think ultimately, if there are more of us who really hold that intention and work hard in our lives to bring that into realization, things begin to shift. They do begin to shift. They do begin to heal. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I find it really exciting. And I can't help but to share some of that enthusiasm here as well. So this week in honor of Juneteenth, which is today actually, but why not carry the spirit of it forward into the next week with great joy, right? I want to honor the day by using the HooDoo Tarot by Tayannah Lee McQuillar for the weekly reading. Now, I will also say, if you are not aware of it already, Kim from Abundant Life Tarot is presently doing a HooDoo Tarot study group. Unfortunately, I've been very overwhelmed in the past couple of weeks with all of the stuff going on at mom and dad's and all of the things that I've been working on, and it's just been a lot. So I got started and I got off to a really good start with it. And, the good news is it's never too late and it's okay to take a break. So the first official 2 weeks, you're supposed to post every single day. If you don't, you're supposed to make it up. So it's just kind of like a Buddhist practice. You screw up today, that's all right. The minute you become aware that you screwed up, you just get right back on the saddle. You carry forward and keep going, right? So if you want to join, it's not too late. You can totally join. I'm minimally involved with the online part of it because I've been working on a lot of other stuff that I'll be talking about and announcing and so forth very soon. But I have at least begun the journey, and I love it because this is a deck. I don't know why, because there is no hoodoo that I'm aware of in my family background. But I do know, well, you just never know. You just never know. And I do find that the truth that comes forth through this deck and through the individuals represented in it, that there's something in here that is deeply moving and just remarkable. So, yeah. So that said, let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle. I usually shuffle 3 times 3, or sorry, three times, what am I saying? I shuffle 9 times. 3 riffle and 6 overhand. So I clearly cannot count today. So I'm going to just carry on and do this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got them. I got them all shuffled. I'm going to just use this weekly spread that I've been working with from Benebell Wen because I find it to be concise. It keeps me very focused and targeted in my own practice. And it seems to keep these weekly readings pretty focused and concise as well, and connects my own personal readings with the overall general readings in a way that makes both incredibly useful as I go through the week, is what I'm finding. So, for the benefit of all, including oneself, that is going to be the choice I make. So we want to know first, what is the card that is going to be, whose energy is going to be with us all week this week, accompanying us through everything we do. Ooh, it's the Eight of Coins. Now, the Eight of Coins, this gentleman reminds me, for some reason, of my godfather, who I referred to as Uncle Bob, who's deceased. We know the meaning in terms of the RWS. I'm studying the deck. I really would like to offer the reading from the book as well, because I believe that the book is going to have quite a bit to share with us as well. But that said, before we do the book and look at these in more depth, I'm just going to offer my own first impressions here. So, the Eight of Coins is really about getting down to doing the hard work. So the spirit of really hard work and, knuckling down, putting our nose to the grindstone in favor of, greater earnings, greater wealth, greater abundance is going to be, part of what motivates us and gets us through the coming week, which is really exciting. So, yeah. And again, we'll read them after I've done the actual reading. So the second card in the card position, and it is in the box below if you want to have a look, is what our focus needs to be for the coming week. So where we need to center our focus and work hardest. Ooh, the Nine of Baskets. So this is about abundance, isn't it? You could tell. And it goes so beautifully once again with the Mo divination, right? Which is, nectar like medicine, essence of gold. So if you didn't see the Mo divination, I encourage you to have a look at it. I will hopefully remember to link it below. But essentially, it's the same. Where it's Padi. So any activities that we engage in that are abundance related this week are going to be on the increase. The HooDoo Tarot is taking us more deeply into that and telling us that in order to have that sense of satisfaction, having full baskets of food and flowers and books and wine and all of the really wonderful things that we need, we want to focus on being grateful for what we have. Right? So we're working hard, we're putting in the effort, knowing deeply on every level of our being that wealth and that abundance and that goodness is on its way in whatever form it needs to take for you personally. So for some of us, that really will be material wealth, keeping in mind that this is the Nine of Baskets. So it also can relate to family. It can relate to our emotions. It's funny, wealth and friendship is something that is linked together very tightly in the Mo divination system and Tibetan culture. The Nine of Cups or Nine of Baskets. And again, we'll look at the book and see what it says there as well. But what it ultimately tells me is that we need to contemplate the ways in which our emotional fulfillment and wealth is derived from our relationships with family and with friends, right? Having a full heart, feeling that sense of satisfaction and joy because you have a full heart, because your loved ones are well. That is another form of abundance. So yeah, how exciting. And then finally, this is something this would be what we need to be mindful of or aware of as we go into the week and through this process. Oops, here we go. Oh, wow, it's Father Sims. More temperance. We had temperance last week in the form of the Paradise card in the, what's the name of in the Hieronymus Bosch deck. It just makes me laugh. Father Sims is coming from a very different place, but we are still in an alchemical relationship with the world around us. Something in us is being transformed. Something in our world is also being transformed, and hopefully in ways that we can benefit from. But we need to be aware of the ways in which that's playing out, I think, on our personal paths, right? It's the only It's the only major that we have this week. Last week was all majors, right? But this week we've got one major, and again, it's Temperance, and it's in the same position as last week. All right, so let's look more closely at what these cards actually mean according to our deck author. So first we'll look at the Eight of Coins. Okay, so here is our card. So the gentleman pictured here is Island Smith, who lived from 1877 to 1953. And he was a Creek medicine man from Oklahoma. Interesting. He was respected for his knowledge of traditional Creek medicines and cures. Island attributed his gift for healing to being of both indigenous and African heritage, which he believed made him twice as powerful as a full blood of either background. I love that. Though a controversial concept now, root workers tended to believe that people from certain ethnic or racial backgrounds had certain skills, abilities, or shortcomings inherent in the blood. That's fascinating. So what do we know? Let's see. The meaning, we have skill development. It's most of the same things that we already talked about, right? So working hard to attain a goal, craftsmanship, etc. Yeah. I would say too, we need to know, I think this Nine of Baskets is also telling us to be on the lookout, whoops, wrong way, to be on the lookout for the ways in which maybe we could also be pushing too hard. If we can't ever be satisfied, what good is the hard work? Because you're just going to keep dangling the carrot. So those who are prone to perfectionism, there are limits. There are limits. I would also say too, if you're not aware of this already, perfectionism is something that I talk about every now and again. I have a lot to say on the matter because I feel like I'm a perfectionist in recovery. It's something I gave up years ago because of a number of different reasons, but mainly because it made me so sick. It made me so sick. There was a standard I was setting that was something I could never reach. I judged myself and everyone else by it, and it was unhelpful. It really got in the way of everything else that I care about, like compassion, right? It's hard to be compassionate. It's hard to really cultivate compassion when judgment is so much a part of what you're doing, right? And where perfectionism is concerned, you can work until you're dead, really, until you kill yourself, and it won't make any of it better. You may improve, you may get better at things, but where's the limit, right? It's not to say that hard work isn't necessary. It is. Clearly it is. And where is the line there? It's also the way in which society keeps us in line. Be aware of this. If there is a bar that's set so high that nobody can really attain it aside from less than 1% of the population, what does it say if everyone's held to that same standard? It's a system built on failure, right? And it is going to be supremacist, because if everyone coming into it is coming from a place that's equal, well, then that's one thing. But if you're coming to it from a place where some people have inherited money and have inherited land and inherited education or the ability to afford education and connections with educators and places of education, which usually gets people pretty far and always has, those kinds of opportunities will get you way further down, the line in terms of being able to set things up. But if you've come from a place like the free man does in this tarot deck, where you're starting from nothing, and all of your inheritance, your family, your ancestral land, your property, all of it is gone because it's been taken or reclaimed, or it couldn't be afforded because there was nothing, there was no groundwork to rely upon, nothing ancestral to rely upon. How can you possibly be held to the same standard, right? So I feel too that this one has a much deeper message to give us in terms of how we view our own efforts and our own hard work, as well as how we view abundance. you know. Yeah. So there we are. Now let's look at the abundance part of it, right? Let's look at the 9 of baskets. Seven, 8, 9 of baskets. Okay. Oh, so the plant associated with the 9 of baskets is the marigold. I wonder if those are supposed to be marigolds. Oh no, those are sunflowers. Okay. So the image, this card shows an aerial view of 9 baskets filled with a few items that represent what most human beings desire, right? So cash and jewels, which is financial security and wealth, books, which represent knowledge, a gator head, which represents protection, or safety. I would say it could represent safety as well. For me, it represents safety. A rabbit's foot, which is good luck. An old-fashioned biscuits, which represent nourishment and familiarity. A bottle of wine, which represents the intoxicants. Sunflowers, which are warmth and good times, and passport, which is travel. Okay, so we have to work hard in order to attain any of those things. And any one of those things and the combination of all of them are what represents abundance, right? Additionally, she associates this particular card and its meaning with, I don't know what, there we go, a little more brightness. Dreams fulfilled, plenty, art appreciation, wishes that come true, sensuality, rewards, attaining your heart's desire and making it, and gratitude. So there's a lot here. There's a lot here. So we're going to work hard. The spirit of hard work will be with us as we work towards attaining these things. And I think too, appreciating these things that we already have. We're building that abundance. Oh, I see now. So the Father Sims is where that previous rant came from. About balance, right? The difference between perfectionism and doing enough, right? Working hard enough. So let's see what Father Sims has to say officially. Yeah. Oh, I love this. There's always a Bible verse that goes with each of these, with the majors. So it's from the book of Job. Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? So the plant is pea vine. And it says, Father Sims is dressed in the purple satin robe in which he liked to work. The rooster represents him, and the 2 streams of water represent his baptism as a 2-headed doctor. So he was a hoodoo, a doctor that did both good and bad, and both in quotes here, work. Father George Sims, born Joe Watson and nicknamed the Frizzly Rooster, was a preacher and a root worker from New Orleans. They called him the Frizzly Rooster because many people kept at least 1 chicken in the backyard for the sole purpose of scratching up any roots that may have been placed there by an enemy. Love that. Sabotage. Okay. He had a reputation for being able to being able to effectively place or lift curses and read anyone. Father Sims was a bit eccentric and was comfortable doing good or bad workings. He gave sermons at Myrtle Wreath Hall, and that's where his most famous student, Zora Neale Hurston, made his acquaintance. I love this so much. Okay. After weeks of performing superficial tasks without anything being explained to her, she was initiated by Father Sims, given the nickname the Boss of Candles, and finally taught the deeper mysteries. It is a common misconception that root work is never an initiatic system, because while this is the case for many, initiations are not unheard of. So I know that she underwent these initiations because this is a book I would recommend. It was recommended to me by, or recommended generally, not necessarily just to me, but generally by Queen Osset in her first original video where she introduced the HooDoo Tarot. And I love Zora Neale Hurston, so I went ahead and got this one and a couple of others. She was incredible. She was incredible. So when Father Sims comes up in a reading, it's asking you to review your position regarding your inquiry. If you've taken an extreme or one-sided position, now's the time to consider things from a more balanced perspective. Things do not have to be black and white, so don't force it to be. If you've been asked to compromise or cooperate, but you feel resistant to the idea, this card is a good sign that you haven't considered all the aspects of the situation. If you've been asked to give someone an answer, don't respond until you feel more centered. To do otherwise may cause deep regret and feelings to be hurt unnecessarily. Try to be fair. Okay, so yes, there we go. Yeah. I love it when a reading comes together like that, right? I had the feeling, I thought, wow, I just feel like perfectionism is a thing with this, right? So to sum it up, we're going to work, the spirit with us this week is the Eight of Coins. And this beautiful medicine man, of two different backgrounds, Native American and African American, urges us to work hard. His spirit of hard work and, including hard magical work and spiritual work is with us, but to a point, right? To, in a balanced way, work with balance towards what it is we want, which is abundance, right? Bringing abundance into our lives. This is our main focus for this week. How do we bring that abundance into focus? And a large portion of the way we do that is through gratitude. We need to be thankful for the opportunity to work hard, thankful for the opportunity to have what we have, and know that more will come when we need it, and especially when we need it most. And Father Sims reminds us to work with balance, right? Don't be extreme. If we find ourselves on one side of the fence with an inability to really see things as they are, or see things from a more, from a middle path, it's time to take a break. It's time to take a break. Back away, get some air, feel it out, come back when you can see things from an even perspective, from the middle of the road. All right, friends. So that's our reading for the week. I will see you again later in the week for our full moon reading. All right. That'll be on Thursday, the 24th. So have a beautiful weekend. Have a beautiful Father's Day, beautiful Litha, or beautiful summer solstice. And I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye.